Oh, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another Nerd 2 presentation. We are here talking about the Star Trek The Lower Decks, Season 3, Episode 8, Crisis Point 2, Paradoxus. I
Electric
am
Boogaloo.
Commander. Commander. Don't forget Commander.
I am joined by my fellow Trekkies in arms. Zam, how are you this evening, sir?
I'm fatigued, son, but I'm still going.
Ever at it, always diligent. Below him is cousin Cheeto. How are you, sir?
America! Fuck
Fuck
yeah!
I guess that's good. Below me is Commodore Boone. How are you this evening?
I time traveled to the Enterprise D to see how they really work the damn warp core because I'm trying to figure that out. So I'm doing good, and you?
I'm doing great. Excited to talk about this episode.
Let's go.
Already starting with a comment from Daniel Vance. Always good
Hey,
to
Daniel,
see
what's
him.
up?
Thanks for joining us, as always, sir. He says, today in Star Trek history, Dr. Beverly Crusher was born October 13th, 2324, in Copernicus City on Luna. Very interesting factoid. You always bring the knowledge. And William Shatner, at the age of 90, becomes the oldest person to visit space.
Come on.
That was last year, right?
God, was that
Yeah.
really been a year since that happened?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow! Like I can't believe it's been a year since that happened. I feel
Time
like it's just a
flies.
couple months ago. Huh?
Time flies.
I know, insane. Ryan just says hey, and Daniel just says cheers. All right, Major
Ryan.
Rage, take it
What's
away.
up, Ryan?
Speaking of a quick year, just one thing I'd like to throw in there real quick.
You got
I'd
what?
love to say happy anniversary to my wonderful wife, Leanne.
Happy anniversary, Leanne. You have a
Happy
wonderful man.
anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
But
Any
we're
more to
still
come?
here, and we're
Both
talking
very
about.
lucky.
I'm
Both
very
lucky to have
lucky.
each other. No, she's very lucky as well. From getting to know you, I can vouch for that. What about you two? Do you agree?
Oh yeah, Major Rage is one of the best guys.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
shut up, Pete. Hey.
Hey.
These dogs want to keep barking. I don't know why.
I just had to take this opportunity to say it. Sorry, fellas. We will get on
problem.
with the show.
Our loved ones in our lives are very important, so it is okay to take a moment to appreciate them because
yeah.
they tolerate us doing this random bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Right. It's great to have people in your life who are supportive of you. Which, I mean, we see a lot of that in this week's episode.
Yes, good segue.
I felt it was a good
I think
episode from the title. You know, we knew it was going to be another one of the Hollow movie episodes, and great spin on it, making it Boimler's episode. But what do you guys think? Start with you, Zam. Overall thoughts about the episode?
Boimler and a touch of Tindy as well. Yeah, in my opinion. Yeah, it was like some of the stuff I've been watching today. It just feels a bit unusual. Fourth wall breaking almost, and this was kind of fourth wall within its wall breaking because obviously everything was about a holodeck experience. And I guess you can call this the holodeck episode because Star Trek is full of those nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very hard for me to know how to take all of this, really, because it was just them having fun. But there was no hidden agendas. There was no this, that, or the other. It was just them fucking around on the holodeck. And that's really it. You know, there's not more to say. Obviously, we have a few twists and turns at the end and all of that. But yeah, like all the other side characters, most were all holographic projections. They weren't the real people. It's so it's very hard to explain how I feel about this episode. But yeah, it had. I think what I liked about this episode is that there was like what's the word? How do I say? What's the phrase for it? Like a tell for the story. Like like every
moral. to it.
Yeah, a moral to the story, like so a tidbit to the story, even regarding what everything's all about, and Boimler trying to find that reasoning in life and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm mumbling along and all of that. I do apologize. I'll pass it on to somebody else.
How about you, Cheeto? Well,
Initially, I did not like this episode at all, but I actually had time after work today, and I sat down and watched it a second time, and I hated it even more. No, I'm kidding.
Man,
No, I actually, honestly, knowing how the episode ends, surprisingly made it better viewing for me. But I did initial watch. I was like, oh god, like especially when they first like paused the simulation, like in the opening sequence and everything like that. I was like, oh no, not another one of these. Oh god. But I think by the end of the episode on my second watch, I appreciated it a little bit better. So I'll give my mark later, but I definitely I'm like Zam. When I first watched it, I didn't know how to take this episode, but upon second viewing, I did. I was yeah. We can get into it, but yeah, there were a couple things in this episode that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but yeah, we'll get into it. All right, Commodore Boone, stop me from rambling.
keep on rambling. Keep on going. I got all day. I listened to it while I was mowing. I mowed 1 yard today. I had a 3-acre lot, so I mowed it. Well, I mowed for about 4 hours, and I listened to it. About probably 6 times. It was pretty interesting. But when I got home, I finally watched it. Tried to watch it the second time, but I ran out of time and everything. But Boiler finally becomes a captain, of course, in his own little fantasy. And they was trying to make was they trying to make a fan film? It was pretty interesting. More to come on that. Mage?
It's hard to even explain that, by the way, but it's like they were making a film, but
they make
with
a
it-
Hollow movie, and
Yeah.
it's
Starring
the first
them.
one starring them, and
Yeah.
they kind of take the piss on all the various era Star Trek movies, and we'll
Yeah.
see. Crisis
Christ.
Point 2? Sure it is. They're running the Menard saga, just waiting for Dagger's girlfriend to die.
Good
one, Daniel Vance.
Yes. Because we all know that Minard's girlfriends always die.
I thought that this was more of an allegory on Star Trek fans who are saying, like all the Star Trek fans say this isn't my Star Trek, but then there were definitely lines in there that they were kind of ham-fisting in there, basically saying, and they were saying, well, we should appreciate this because this is a Starfleet story, and just because it's different doesn't mean if it's Starfleet story, we should like it.
Right.
And so like I'm like they're kind of hand-fisting the fact that like people who say New Trek is not my Trek. New Trek is not good Trek, like stuff like that. They're kind of doing an allegory on those kind of fans.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I didn't catch that subtext, but now that you bring it up, I can definitely see it. Got Ryan Gerald's chiming in. Time traveling hollow shed irrelevant fun. It was no strings attached fun. I'm not sure if I agree with that because we got a introduction to a long ongoing future plot hook at the end of the episode, which I'll save talking about it specifically for then. And also we had character growth on the part of Tendi and Boimler, so
Yep.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's no strings attached.
Well, first of all, I've found out now that all this time I've been calling him Jurleys, and his fucking surname is Gerald's. And you never corrected me once, mate.
I hate to be that guy.
It's fair enough. I rather. Yeah, honestly, I'm fine with being corrected because, But regardless, yes, Ryan. Time traveling, irrelevant fun. Yeah, I liked it too for that reason alone. It was just them having fun.
Yes, it's back to kind of our lower deckers being the ones in the spotlight, not as much of the actual bridge crew. And
especially Rutherford, like he was having the time of his life.
Yep.
That was great, and at times it almost felt like there was some reconciliation with that other personality, because you wouldn't normally see Rutherford necessarily acting this way, especially with the thugs and the clothes.
And
yeah, I
don't,
love the punks. Yeah, it was like Rutherford's like, I'm still in this cool clothes. It's a cool part of time travel.
yeah.
I'm like, oh no.
And don't forget about Knick Knack now.
Oh, we
Nick
will-
Knack's great. Nick Knack's awesome.
Oh,
I'm here for it.
yep.
when Rutherford farts during the Crisis Point 2 intro,
Yeah, I see.
the CC, the closed caption. I thought he said CC for cousin Cheeto. I'm like, what did I say? The closed caption says Rutherford blows raspberries.
Laughs. Yep.
Daniel, yeah, I do try to watch it with closed captions on so we can catch stupid little things like that, but sometimes I forget to turn it on.
Oh, I can't hear without my subtitles.
Really?
Anime purist right here. This guy and this guy. I
He's got to hear and see at the same time.
mhm.
So, we start the episode with the Cerritos under attack, the lights, being low and the high octane start. It reeks of, a Trek movie and not actual episodic style. And, it's kind of a clear signal that we're in the holoshed again, having a revisit to, the episode or season 1 story of them making their own movie on the holodeck. We see them get boarded. The Romulans kill a scientist and steal a case, returning to their ship. We see that there's 3 Romulan triplet sister commanders who order the destruction of the Cerritos, but just in the nick of time, they are saved by the Wayfarer.
I'm sorry. I felt that the Romulan triplets was a parody on the Duras sisters from
Yes,
Klingon
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I don't remember there ever being triplets with Romulans and stuff, so I didn't think that was a callback. I think it was a parody on the Duras,
especially with their cleavage out as well.
Yep.
Yeah, like it was definitely because Romulans never. I don't think I've ever seen Romulans having their cleavage out or anything
Nope,
like that.
never have.
No, it was definitely a Duras parody.
They always have the huge late 80s shoulder pad power
Yeah.
jacket look. So Captain Dagger is Boimler's character, and we're kind of introduced to Boimler acting competent and confident.
I thought it was William at first. I'm not sure if you guys did.
They put it in the trailers. Like there was a trailer and they presented it that was William.
Mm.
So like and I honestly thought that this was going to be time travel shenanigans of, because they were talking about time travel and everything like that. I thought this was time travel shenanigans where like Boimler was a captain in the future, and it didn't make too much sense. But in the moment, I was like trying to rationalize what was going on, hoping that it wasn't a holodeck simulation again. But it did turn out to be
Or a dream sequence.
or a dream
But,
sequence. Yeah, I didn't want that either.
But we haven't had a time travel episode, have we? In Lower Decks.
Not
Don't believe so.
Wow.
really.
Yeah. That's coming down the line.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But the Hollow Romulans escape with the crystal. It's this MacGuffin called the Chronogami.
Sorry, what? I apologize, mate. Do you think they were like honing in on Galaxy Quest a little bit with all of this? Because I was getting serious Galaxy Quest vibes. That they had their MacGuffin was a time travel thing, and these aliens wanted it, and all of that sort of stuff. And no, was it just me?
Yeah, I didn't really get Galaxy Quest. I can see where you make the comparison because it's like all the other, like all of the characters, like the real life characters, were acting like act like normal people. And like in Galaxy Quest, I don't remember what the race was that actually built like the ship and actually made it into like a working whatever. They were all like in this for real. And like that's what the holodeck people are, where it's like the real people, like they're talking about MacGuffins and everything throughout the episode, and so I thought that was very interesting.
Daniel Vance says the show is leaning even more into being like The Boys, Futurama, or Rick and Morty, and frankly, not a good direction. I'm not sure about The Boys.
Yeah, the
Futurama, I
boys
can
is
see.
the boys is held up on a pedestal much higher than anything we have ever seen before.
Oh boy.
Uh,
No.
the Rick and Morty
It's not that.
comparison,
Yeah.
I absolutely see, especially last week's episode. It felt more like a Rick and Morty episode than it felt like a Lower Decks episode.
I can see
And
Futurama as
fuck that
well. Like,
episode.
what's the name of the main character from Futurama?
Fry,
Fry. Like, Boimler reminds me of Fry quite often. So
when he's
they are different. They are different, but there's a similarity as well. The animation of the Koronogami was cool. And orgasms and poop jokes are low hanging fruit. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Mhm.
Daniel Vance is our Ginger Greek of the airwaves.
Yep.
I mean, he really is.
It's
He's
valid points.
he's very easily unimpressed. I mean, you got to raise the bar for him, and I totally appreciate that about him. Whilst everyone else is giving 9s and 10s, he'll be giving 4.5s. So yeah.
And also remember one thing: there is a Star Trek II reference in this video.
Oh, there's more than one.
Do you know where it's at? Well, I only seen one, so I guess you
I
have
was
to.
going to say the uniforms on the scientists. I thought.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
not just the logos, but the music as well.
Yep.
They were all symbolizing but it was just symbolizing the movies in general.
Yeah.
And I mean the Chronogami is a lot like the Genesis device.
Mhm.
It's kind of I felt
Yeah.
like it was mostly a call to that.
And it also showed on a computer screen top secret from Star Trek 2. It was like the actual Star Trek 2 video right there. I mean,
Yeah, the one that Rutherford was so impressed by.
Yeah, he's like, "Woo,
when they go to the space station and the hot scientist, that's all Star Trek 2.
That's all Star Trek 2.
Yeah,
correct.
all of that. They even throw in a bit of Generations there, but you have Sulu instead of Spot.
At the end, that was
Yeah.
That was great. I love that. Captain Sulu. Oh yeah.
Was that George Takei?
It did not sound like
But
it.
it didn't.
I thought it sounded like him.
Yeah.
I'll check that, but I'm pretty
Yep.
sure it was him.
When I think of George
Cheeto,
Takei, I think he does do a lot of voice work for animation, even for Star Wars. But when I think of George Takei, I think of an animation. I think of the version of him on Family Guy. I mean, so
Well, it sure sounded like George.
I'm glad it was then. If it was him, then good stuff.
I don't think they would have put him in there if it wasn't him.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like they would have rather not put Sulu on there.
Right.
I mean, now if he has passed away, maybe, but he's
there's only three guys left, so
I know.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, Mage.
No apologies needed. We're here to discuss the whole thing.
Oh, yours, Mage.
Boimler gets a call and they have to pause it, and we get the full reveal that it is indeed a holodeck movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sequel to Crisis Point 1 Vindicticus from season 1, and Mariner is upset that Boimler has made his novel, holo novel movie, a sequel, but he points out that he wrote the original iteration of the program, so it's as much his movie as hers. And he leaves to go to Ransom's office where he's been called to after setting the others up with the credits, skipping forward a little bit, and they enjoy watching the credit sequence and various jokes and their characters' names. Yeah, Cheeto?
I do love the fact that they do. He's like, let me put the credits on. You never saw that in Star Trek on the holodeck. You know what I mean? They actually show credits for whatever. I think that was hilarious. I'm like, I never really thought about that before. And also it was George Takei. At least everything that I just read, it was George Takei. So.
Oh, excellent. Maybe he was just trying to do a more realistic and not over the top comedic performance.
Either that or he's up there in age. I mean,
Yeah,
The
he's in his
voice
80s
sounds
now.
different.
yeah. I mean, he has a weaker demeanor. I mean, it's kind of like James Earl Jones and Darth Vader. Like like if you listen to him in Rogue One, he sounds aged in that. Like he sounds like struggling to live Vader. So that's kind of what And so I mean, I expected it, but it's okay. It didn't bug me any. But anyway, go ahead.
No. Um. So, then Mariner, she makes this big dig on the Kelvin verse that
As
I
we all
kind
should.
the Abrams movies. I loved it. I thought it was a hilarious dig. Um. So after the credits, Boimler returns and he's distracted and kind of distraught acting, and you can tell something happened in Ransom's office. I thought that maybe they were getting separated, they were getting transferred to a different ship or something like that. Did you guys have anything that immediately went through your head when
It was hard
Boimler
to
showed up?
it was hard to say because all I kept telling myself was, what you think it is, it's not. Yeah, I mean the obvious, and that seemed to be the case. Like all this time, we were all speculating many things. I don't think anyone speculated that William was dead.
Right.
So
Now that was not. I mean, and honestly, I didn't care. I didn't like that whole subplot of season 2. Like I didn't really care. Like I was like, oh, good, he's dead. At least we don't have to deal with that anymore.
But is he really dead?
Yeah.
Gerald's. I'm gonna call I'm gonna call him RJ. RJ says that's exactly what I thought. Yeah, man. I mean, I kept thinking to myself, I know what I want it to be. Like maybe he's been transferred, or like he's got some duties to do. Like maybe he's not.
Right.
Yeah, he likes doing menial tasks, which everyone hates, like cleaning shit and stuff like that. Maybe he's been told that he won't be cleaning shit today. So, and that's what's made him so upset. But it was hovering, because he was so miserable or unhappy or shocked. Even it's hard to explain what his emotional state was. It was having a factor in the whole holodeck experience.
Mm-hmm. He immediately starts playing not playing the character anymore,
and not caring and about anything.
He gets distracted, and we end up with the subplot.
He was down.
No. So we cut to the Europa station, and we get the whole Genesis Project parody come down to complete with the hot scientist, like you guys were talking about, which the analog to Kirk's love interest and baby mama.
That was never Kirk's wife at any point, was it? It was just a girlfriend.
No, just baby mama.
Mm-hmm.
Just a ship in a night.
They explain, the full, details about our MacGuffin, the chronogami. It can fold space and time and allow you to travel to the past or the future.
Like origami.
Like origami, and they over-explain it and everything, and we get, Boone was pointing out, the cool graphics that Rutherford's so impressed by. But
that was funny, by the way, because obviously he's taking the piss. But yeah, I liked it a lot.
But Boimler is out of sorts, and he doesn't play up the romantic subplot when the love interest kind of throws herself at him. She's taken aback by his no thanks in a pretty funny moment to me.
Actually, I actually didn't catch any that didn't seem off to me, because remember, he was so dismissive of all the women in the raisin orchard or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why it's I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
he's back to being Boimler and not playing the character. Like, he was making a point to act different from himself and play a character.
Yeah, so but that didn't flag me as anything wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that just seemed like him. But
Well, I was
No.
thinking that too, and it kind of bugged me a little bit. I thought there's a bit of inconsistency here, but at the same time, he was after that hot chick who was actually mind controlled in the previous season. So it's just hard to tell sometimes with Boimler. But I just like the fact that once he turned her down, she had no idea what to do because she was supposed to be his love interest,
Yeah.
and he didn't want anything to do with her because obviously his mind was elsewhere.
Yep.
And that particular holographic model ended up, losing purpose, and I loved it. I loved
Yeah,
it
she's
so
like, I have no
much.
idea what to do here.
No, and they formulate that the Romulans must be planning on going back in time and preventing the Federation from ever being formed. To begin with, they're given a awesome MacGuffin detecting watch that will measure chronotons and help them find the chronogami, and given a lead
Cool.
to go to Tash's Shore 4.
Yep.
With this is the first of the couple of planet name references to actors in the Star Trek universe.
Hmm.
And this one being Shax's voice actor.
No, okay, that's a good, well spotted. I had no idea.
Have we hit Sydney yet? No, we haven't hit Sydney yet.
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
But they head there and find when they detect the Romulans using the watch, they get into a big transport and run away. Everybody else but Boimler and Mariner hop onto these grav cycles and give chase. But Boimler had gotten distracted by these street preachers, NPCs,
I
these
like one of them
extras.
I like one of them. Sorry, saying this is a holodeck simulation.
Yep, that
So
was
fucking
beautiful.
fun.
The irony was
Oh,
great.
God,
One part
yeah.
Matrix and
Yeah.
conspiracy theory jab, and one part just tongue-in-cheek fourth wall breaking. I liked the one who was talking about the koala, the running gag about the koala that they see at near death. Just, I don't know why I like it so much, but I do. So another self-reference from the show. But Boimler is taken in by a guy preaching about Kittia, who will
Mhm.
reveal the secrets of the universe, and Boimler thinks that he can learn the meaning of life, and he's hung up on this to the point of getting distracted from, the plot of the movie and promoting Tindy to acting captain and putting her in charge of the mission.
I love this, by the way. I absolutely love this. This is the sort of shit that I'm into. Like, here's this whole fucking major story that we can follow, but Boimler wants to start following some random extra and seeing where that leads in this particular story, like a whole different direction.
Mhm.
And I love that shit. That shit floats my fucking boat. I love that. Yeah, I really do. Like, this is where we're supposed to go, but we're gonna go this direction instead. Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Well, I mean, Cheeto can tell you, and so, you always do the side quest first. That's how you min-max.
I know. I
Get into a
agree
new
with
area.
that.
Always look for those side quests.
I agree with that too. But this was him making a side quest.
Yes,
You know what I
and
mean? The
the program populating it for him, which
Yeah.
I thought was a cool twist.
Yeah.
It would make sense that somebody couldn't code every single background person for a program, and that you would just put in some scripts and let the computer handle it.
Mm-hmm.
But this creates an A plot, B plot shift, but we don't end up getting anything more than that, and the episode doesn't become busy or jumbled.
The Mad Magazine, that back flat map.
Yeah,
I never really got into Mad Magazine too much.
I could see that
Yeah,
totally
neither.
being something from Mad Magazine, plus the fold together map reveal at the end.
What is it? What's the Bucket Pail Kids, or what was that called?
Garbage
Garbage
Pail Kids.
Pail
Garbage
Kids.
Pail Kids. Yeah.
And
Like-
you got Cabbage Patch Kids, which were the originals.
They just, the map's just on flabby skin. Ooh.
You touch it and put it together, and you get the idea. Ugh.
That was a rip on V'ger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. The motion picture.
Well, actually, when you put the skin together, I was thinking
Mhm.
romancing. You seen Romancing the Stone? Come on, tell me I'm not the only one who's seen that
Mm-hmm.
fucking film. But they're like, they have this map and they realize, oh, how we're supposed to find this place. But then when they fold the map, it gives them the answer because like the images come together to create a new image by folding the map. That's what they did with the skin, didn't they? But I'm jumping ahead. I do apologize.
All good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the scene with Mariner and Boimler being, given the prophecy by this street preacher ends with him saying that, the bike chase probably isn't fun. We cut to Rutherford immediately saying, "This is so fucking fun." That
Yeah.
that killed me. Uh, Tindy ends up doing a flip off of the grav cycle, letting it crash into the front of the Romulan transport. Lands on Ruth's
Again
grav cycle.
showing, again showing Tindy's badass pirating skills.
Oh,
Oh yeah, no, she's very capable.
Oh yes, actually, I do know about this. I do know about this. Yeah, yeah. But a friend of mine was an old friend of mine was really into Mad magazine, and I remember the folding always made a different picture. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Nice one, Daniel Vance. The human encyclopedia of nerdism,
He is.
without a doubt.
and he's doing a great job.
Oh
Keep
yeah,
it
Oh,
keep it-
greatest
always.
job of all time.
Stream wouldn't be the same without him. It's always a
You got
pleasure
that
to have
right.
Daniel Vance. Uh, so, despite stopping the transport, the Romulans still managed to get away by using the chronogami. Uh, the away crew discusses the fact that they might not be able to get home if they jump in, but they're Starfleet, so they jump in immediately,
Damn
uh,
right.
taking them to 2341 in the midst of an algae crisis. It's a historic moment that I don't recall any reference to. Is this a reference I'm
neither.
missing, or is this something
No,
they just made up?
I don't know, but I was getting Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure vibes. Just with them
All
like
the
time
time
traveling.
hopping is very Bill
Yeah,
and Ted.
yeah, that's all I was getting. I had no idea. Obviously, we had the old like sort of like military suits and stuff like that because of that particular era. But um, overall, I found nothing about that particular time period that was remotely
Hmm.
memorable from something previous. No member berries there.
Uh, Rutherford walks in with a sub. He explained that he needed to go get a snack because he was hungry, and Tindy gets mad at him. And, you know, you know, especially all over again when he starts munching on his chips.
Gotta have
Uh,
chips.
Yeah.
and she wants him to
Chips.
take it more seriously, and it'll become clear later. But at first, it's just like it's a Hollow movie. Why shouldn't he be having fun? Thought the
Yeah,
point of it was to relax.
I thought, but I did because she became captain. Like she just took it way too seriously. Like what's his face? Ferengi kid, Zog. It was Zog,
Nog.
Rom,
No,
Nog. Yeah, that's it, Nog. When he was with what's his face? Um, the crooner hologram, and he was like working on his
Vic Fontaine.
Vic Fontaine. Yeah,
That's one
yeah,
of the greatest episodes in Star Trek
Yeah.
history.
yeah. It was a great episode,
Dude,
wasn't it?
DS9's got like all the amazing episodes. I'm sorry, none come close to DS9 episodes.
All right.
we could make a video out of that one day, Cheeto. But
Yep,
I think
fight me in the comments.
well,
I
we'll
think
bring it to the
preference.
comments. Hopefully, everybody on stream or watching later will bring it to the comments too and join us in discussion. What were
DS9
you
has a
saying, Sam?
massive follow. DS9 has a massive following. But at the end of the day, when it comes to Star Trek, it's preference, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Most of them
oh yeah,
stink.
I love that
But
catchphrase.
I don't feel that way about Cheetos usually. So I'd like to hear his arguments. Okay,
Want to
so
read that one, someone?
Ryan says, to me, this plus the going off on their own tangential stories was a bit like a D&D game, with one person just not taking it serious and another getting annoyed by it.
There you
That's
go.
a good
Mm.
dynamic parallel. That's
got it.
absolutely true. Nice catch, Ryan.
I agree.
Sounds like he's getting the game on his mind again.
Yep.
So Boimler and Mariner are mostly Boimler. They're talking to the background character with Mr. Skin Map about how to get to Kittia when, Nick Nack busts in, starts fawning all over Boimler's character.
Nick
You know,
Nack, the alien of the week, which was hilarious.
that Alien of the Week bit, that was
Yeah.
great. And just, and that was, when Mariner's getting angry about Boimler, she says that he's ruining her franchise by getting off book and not being, with the main action, and, him making up his own plot as he goes along
And-
by,
And that's where I got a lot of the parallels of the people talking about New Trek and Boone talking about the fan films and stuff like that. Like, I can see a lot of the parallels there that they're trying to make fun of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mariner leaves to go to her evaluation, and while she's there, Ransom praises her, says she's getting good marks from department heads. She's turned a corner and seems like she might be getting off her little probation when he
About time.
informs her about William, Boimler's transporter clone that got assigned to the Titan, died in his sleep, exposed to some gas in a random leak. So freak accident took him out. Ransom, it kind of admonishes her to go, be supportive of Boimler, and she leaves, and it's pretty clear that she's going to go back to the holodeck and rejoin him. Back with the acting Captain Tindy story, they have time hopped to like 1982. A
London,
nod to which
No, it
of
was
the
Sydney.
original series movies?
No, but they were in London because the people robbing them were had British accents.
I
Yep.
thought that they were in Sydney, Australia.
It looked like Greenwich, the area they were in. So
Okay.
I mean, if I could pass it for any part of London, I would say Greenwich. Like that's where four fought the Dark Elves in four Dark World. Yeah, that's Greenwich.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe
I
that
didn't
part of
know
the
that.
world. So yeah, it just
Huh.
reminded me of that. Like some of the stuff they were saying felt very. But again, Australians and Brits, they share a lot of similarities. So
The slang seems
I-
more stereotypical British to me, so that's what I was reading, was London.
yeah, me too. We were done by shit American accents. Okay, I may be basic as shit for it, but I love the knick-knack, paddywhack. White mate. Oh yeah, but when Ryan does it, he does it really good. Geezer. Yeah, you're a proper geezer. Top bloke. Yeah.
Oh, he has a mean bruv.
Oh, bruv. Yeah. You right, bruv? Yeah, geezer.
So they get attacked by the punks, and we get the part that just kills me: Rutherford jacking their clothes.
Yeah.
Every time travel, but he has a point. Every time travel movie ever, you've got to do that at some point to blend in.
But the pants wouldn't fit. You need to get bigger punks.
No,
That was a good one.
He wasn't. Well, the pants couldn't fit. He couldn't get the pants off. No,
he couldn't get them off.
Couldn't get the pants on.
Oh, my bad. I apologize.
I think.
Yeah, they were in Sydney. It says Sydney.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
So yeah, it was Australia. I was about to say I was positive it was Sydney, Australia.
Well, was there an opera house in the background? But I must have missed that.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was all over that background.
Notes.
I'm like, that's what cued me.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. My bad.
But anyway, I love Shax's before any of that. I love Shax's comments. He's like, wait, we don't want any. And then he hits one of them. And he's like,
Yeah.
witnesses.
I love
That
I
was
am,
Shanks. He's
great.
so
if I
fucking.
ever get jumped and I decide to fight him, I'm going to use that line. I don't
Uh,
care.
He just shanked him too.
Yeah.
Like no remorse, just quick and easy.
I half
Daniel
expected to see
Winter.
Sarah Silverman's character from Voyager referenced somewhere around the punks.
Yeah, but that was in
Sarah Silverman?
'97. This is in '82. I know it doesn't make sense, but I don't even think she would have been, or she was probably born at that point, but she would have been.
Man, she's still fucking hot now, and she's almost like she's in her 50s. She still looks amazing. Anyway,
Sarah
sorry.
Silverman?
Yeah,
I haven't seen her in forever.
worth a Google.
So, they decide to enter the aquarium. They've decided that the mission at this point is to save the ancestor of the ambassador who will stop
Yep.
the algae crisis.
Yes, the
But-
soggy spiders.
Yeah, but we get very little of the actual plot of any of this. We immediately cut to Mariner going back into the program, and she's on a ship now. She gets caught, thrown in the brig, and Boimler's there. All of his loyal followers mutinied on him when they couldn't actually find the planet with Kittia on it. They kind of talk, about William's death. Mariner, tells him that she knows, and she kind of comforts him. He opens up about how he's questioning the point of existence in the face of a random senseless death. But after Mariner bucks him up a little bit, they start planning their escape. With knick-knack bussin', smashing the wall and helping them escape.
Yes.
Knick-knack to the rescue. So we cut back to them in Sydney, and Rutherford is dicking around singing the choo-choo song, and gets Hollow to Anna killed, and she has a great in-character and hilarious death line when Tindy's telling her she's going to be fine. Don't bullshit, bullshitter.
Don't bullshitter, man. Don't do that crap.
No. Tindy absolutely loses it at this point, and she admits that she's always, that she wants to be a captain. Daniel Vance says the bomb Rutherford disarms is the same kind used against the Romulan Senate by Talora in Star Trek Nemesis.
Correct.
There you go.
I did notice that. It's a miniature version of the whatever the type of bomb that the scimitar had on it.
Oh yeah.
So yep.
So Rutherford is, supportive of Tindy as usual, and says that if she ever makes captain, that she'd be an excellent one that he'd be proud to serve under. This inspires her to use the chronogami, and we cut to the initial scene of the episode / movie. Back? Forward?
Back.
See,
I have
Back.
no idea.
forward. If it's from the 80s, I guess they're jumping forward in time. But take the opening scene, but it plays out slightly differently. The scientist immediately surrenders the device, which turns out to be the bomb we just mentioned that they swapped for the MacGuffin.
This is my Galaxy Quest bit. This is the Omega 13 thing, where they're able to go back in time and rectify something from happening by knowing it's going to happen. And so in this particular case, obviously that the scientist doesn't die. He gives up the goods, but the goods are not in there. It's a bomb. Yeah. This was my Galaxy Quest resemblance. With that little bit of time travel and changing the outcome.
And you only got 13 seconds too. I think they said.
13 seconds is a lot longer than people give it credit for.
Yeah.
I mean, it is enough time.
Yep.
So the Romulan ship is destroyed, and the chronogami is safe, we cut back to Mariner and Boimler, who are landing on Shatner Ari, and the third
That sounds
moon of
wrong.
that planet. No, it does sound wrong. It's awful. Let's
Mhm.
let's just pretend he isn't a part of it.
Oh, just keep going. Just go with the flow.
Yeah, but that's the second actor planet name correlation I noticed, where it's the planetoid names seem to be a take on an actor name. Maybe I'm stretching. I don't know. So they find Kitia, but it turns out the thing is just a giant platitude spouting machine and nothing more. It's not going to give him anything meaningful, and this just pushes him over the edge. He is done with it.
Yep.
And he beats the hell out of the thing and eventually crawls inside of the hole, and he finds the Wright brothers flyer, freaks out, yelling, "Kitty Hawk!
Yep.
Kitty Hawk!"
Yep.
And we fade to white, and then we see him on the Kirk farm. And he wakes up and he goes into a barn, and he doesn't find Kirk, but rather Sulu, who he's impressed to meet, and he tells him that basically if he never stops thinking about the randomness or inevitability of death, he'll never actually live and find the joy in life.
That's a great phrase. And those are the sort of moments like in this series that kind of made it a bit memorable. Like it was just maybe the sort of platitudes, towards doing the right thing and all of that. It's really, I'm finding it a bit hard to put into words myself. But it wasn't about an overall story arc or some sort of end of the world event or some sort of bad guy they have to deal with. It's just about your own persona and looking within yourself, and that's what made it so good.
Yeah, no, it's just some character development with him having an existential crisis in the face of tragedy. And it's just a story about the human condition, but done with movie and Star Trek specific parody. And I felt like it was a good story and a good episode.
I mean, from Boimler's point of view, that him and William could have swapped places. Like he could have been on the Titan, and William would have been on the Cerritos, and then who knows, maybe Boimler would have ended up, if he followed a similar path to William, he might have ended up dead himself, which is why maybe it put Boimler in that position. Maybe,
it's rough coming to terms and having to face mortality, especially when you're acknowledging your own. And this might be the first time that he's ever really been confronted by death and tragedy. It kind of seemed like somebody that's not dealt with.
It's funny you think that, but at the same time, I remember in the pilot episode he was being sucked on by a fucking spider, So, and that would. Do you remember?
Yeah, and just oh man.
And I'm sure he's been in.
I must have
a
missed
few
that.
life.
He's been
in a few life or death situations, so I'm surprised this particular thing made him feel his mortality when he would have felt it.
It's like he died. It was it's somebody that looked and acted almost just like him died. It's a little bit different from facing the fact that your life is in danger. How we deal with grief is kind of different from how we deal with fear. But that's a tangent and philosophical discussion for another day.
Oh, you make a good point.
But so Sulu warns him that the horse is going to bite him now, and he gets his neck chomped and wakes up, and what he thought was getting bit on the neck was a hypo spray. They wake him up. They told him he overheated and that despite things in the holodeck not being real, dehydration is. And he was actually clinically dead, Tana said, and they rezzed him basically.
Well,
Uh,
I don't get it. Was this Sulu or holodeck Sulu, or was it in his
no, it was
mind?
his
No.
near-death experience.
Because this Sulu got pissed off. You know what I mean? So it's just a bit weird, and to show you, it almost like it was almost like its own sentient being, but it got pissed off.
I mean, it does make me sad that he didn't meet like some form of Sulu. Like it was just kind of a hallucination, like a near-death hallucination.
Well, Sulu's
Yeah,
dead.
it's a cop out.
Well, Sulu is dead. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
in that time, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was just a chance to do a Generations ripoff, but it was funny. I feel like it was a good piece of advice too. Like you were saying at the beginning, Zam, there's actually a moral to this episode, kind of a
Yeah.
theme running throughout it. Um, and so everyone loved the movie. They tell Boimler he thought that it ended up bad because he didn't go and follow the main plot and got on his own tangent. Then Dr. Ta'ana runs them out of the med bay. He's like, I need this bed. Stevens just leaned on the warp core. And they drag him in with third-degree burns on half his body.
It couldn't
They
happen
better
to a
have a
better
good
person.
thermal generator or he's going to look like Pike.
Oh, no.
And, we get the line from Mariner when she's saying how much she enjoyed it, that there was no dark cliffhanger, and she hates when that happens. Ryan says, the horse bite almost made me fall off the elliptical.
There you go. The horse is going to let you. What?
Yeah.
So we get a different episode title and our dark cliffhanger.
Yeah.
William gets
the irony.
revived with a hypo spray, and he gets recruited by Section 31. He acts very much like his original, and he kind of rips on them for giving him a dark comm badge. We're a secret organization. Why would you have a comm badge logo? And when they basically threaten to kill him again, he gets on board with being in and gives the nice maniacal laugh, and that's where we actually get our credits roll.
This is the funny thing because Section 31 is probably the most renowned yet most unknown part of Star Trek.
It is.
I mean, no, like everybody knows about it at this point. It's kind of like
but everyone knows about it, but
we don't know the details
of
it.
No one knows anything. Everyone knows it exists, but honestly, there's hardly anything on Section 31. There's, it still feels a bit of an enigma to a degree.
They should leave it that way. They go explain something that's cool and mysterious too much. It takes the
I don't know.
the elusiveness out of it.
There's one of two shows I'd like, and I wouldn't like both of them, but I'd like one of them, either a Section 31 show or a time traveling show, like from the 27th century with the time ships and stuff like that.
The Temporal Agent show?
Yeah, the Temporal Agent ship. Yeah. I wouldn't mind that. It would kind of be almost like a Quantum Leap thing, but like, like not body hopping. It would just be they're going through, they're fixing timelines, but don't make it like, I don't know. I mean,
don't do it serialized heavily. Do it mostly episodic story of the week, setting of the week.
And you don't. It's kind of like Strange New Worlds. You don't need like some overarching plot where it's like at the end of the season they have to face off against the Time Lord God, the Buddha, and because he's the one who's been behind all of the time variances or whatever. Just make it like a fun episodic. They go back in time. They get to see some like the start of the Federation. Somebody's trying to, because there's a whole temporal Cold War going on. Like, so we can see at least 1 or 2 seasons worth of that. I think it'd be fun to explore those areas of Star Trek that we don't talk about. The eugenics wars. Even in ancient history.
Oh man, mate. After no offense to the Star Trek fan filmmakers, but after I've seen their attempt of eugenic wars. Yeah, I I'm gonna have to come up with a good acronym for it because it's just so shit. You know, I don't want a fucking eugenic wars. I want Section 31 to be like the
I meant
James
just
Bond
one
in
episode
space.
going back to the eugenics
Yeah.
wars.
But I want like Section 31 to be the James Bond in space. I want some undercoverness. I want them to be like the necessary evil of Starfleet. You know, doing some of the shadiest shit that
Well, and
Starfleet
as I said,
are
that's
not known
fine.
for.
I don't know. I think I'd honestly prefer the time cop ones. The what are they? Not time patrol or time cop. What is it called, Mage? I just lost it again.
Temporal agents.
Temporal agents. You know, I would kind of prefer that over the Section 31, just because Section 30, or even merge it together. Section 31 of the 27th century, doing the dirty work of the Federation, making sure that everything turns out the way that it should. Wouldn't it be crazy to realize that the Federation of the 27th century went back in time to make sure that the Federation was the superpower that it was because of what they did in the past?
That'd
Then
be
you
pretty
hit a
good.
bootstrap paradox.
Interesting.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but yeah, I was about to say it would be a paradox.
But no, it would actually be a time loop because
Yeah.
we wanted the Federation to turn out like it did in the 23rd and 24th century, and the only way that happens is if they kind of etch things throughout time to make sure it's maneuvered that way. It's like a King the Conqueror type
Yeah,
situation.
it's a paradox, isn't it? You know, so that's a paradox, no?
No, paradox is when I think something's different.
Huh?
Like, yeah,
No, it would be
No,
a paradox because if how did the Federation happen? If the Federation didn't happen, Section 31 would cease to exist. So how could Section 31 go back in time and make sure that the Federation happened?
you know what? You Trekkie, you nerds.
It's a bit like John Connor in Terminator. It's a
Damn
similar
it.
thing, you know. I mean, you know, like how does John Connor know? Well, because his father's from the future who gave his mother the knowledge of this stuff, and they had to make love in order for him to be born. You know, like
Mhm.
it's like that. You know, that's a paradox too. You know, so
Anyway,
anyways,
But
I'm a man.
I will.
what's up with you, man? Sorry, my fucking bird's going crazy.
I see that bouncing back and forth.
Yeah.
Daddy,
Oh.
Daddy, Dad.
And my dogs finally laid down and went to sleep.
Is she gonna?
Overall,
What?
I really enjoyed this episode. I at first watch, I was kind of mad at the character development for taking away from what was just a pure fun romp otherwise. But on second view, I appreciate it, and I understand why it's there, and I'd rather have character development than an overarching season plot. I'll save my mark for last. Zam, overall thoughts and mark?
It's an okay episode for me. Like like it's weird in a way. Like the life lesson learned by Boimler. I didn't necessarily think it had the same sort of impact that it should have. You know, I mean, it was good that it did have. I mean, impact on me that it might have had on everyone else, but it was a good life lesson learned and stuff like that. But this almost feels like a bit of a filler episode to a degree, other than other than what happens at the end, which in my opinion was the best part of this episode, knowing that William was still alive and now he's going to Section 31. And if we do get some Section 31 shenanigans, let's just hope we get it in fucking Lower Decks, you know, to see what William does. You know, the same way we got a Peanut a Helper episode last week, maybe we'll get a William episode next season. You know?
Definitely a possibility.
I like his evil mechanical laugh, like I'm Section 31.
He's all in. He seemed all
Yeah,
in
yeah.
to me.
Yeah. What's up, darling? What's up? What's up, baby?
So I'm hungry, damn it.
Hey, have my teeth. Have my teeth.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
So what would you mark it, sir?
I'm gonna give it 7. 7 out of
7?
10. I was gonna give it actually a 6, but I'll give it. I'm thinking I'm letting the fact that I kind of rush watched this and I was a little bit multitasking at the time when I was doing it, but when I watched this, I only had an hour before the start of the stream. Usually, I give myself a little bit more time, but I wasn't able to. So maybe a 6 would have been a bit too harsh. Maybe if I was able to watch it properly, I would probably appreciate it a bit more. So I'm taking that into account and giving it a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still a good mark.
Oh yeah.
Passing grade. Cousin Cheeto.
Upon initial viewing, I was going to give this a 4, but I think after my second watch and kind of sitting back and watching it and talking with you guys, I'm probably going to give it a 6. I do agree with Zam. It does feel a little bit like a filler episode. There were some life lessons here. I just am very sad that they wasted a George Takai cameo on this filler episode. Like, I didn't want Captain Sulu to show up as like some, some big whatever. I mean, technically, you could have had Captain Sulu show up when they were time traveling. Like, they could have had it like one of the things take place on the Excelsior's bridge. That would have, to me, I get it that Sulu had a great line at the end, but it's like it kind of felt like a waste of that character. Not,
I could see that argument.
So I really just I'm gonna throw it. I'm gonna throw it at a 6. Before you two do yours, I'm just gonna say that the chat has ranked this episode. It is tied between 1 and 5 and 6 and 7. So if anyone has not ranked in the poll, please do, because we have a tie and we don't want to tie. We hate ties.
Okay.
Anyway, Commodore Boone.
Oh, it was a great, fun, interesting episode. They're making their videos almost like a fan film, like I said earlier. It was good to see George Takai, but yeah, I agree with Cheeto. It'd been a lot better to be on the Excelsior to see something going on instead of combing a horse. But of course, the horse was there to bite the other guy, so it was pretty interesting video. Plus, the reference of Star Trek 2, which I really appreciated that. You get to see the base station, the old uniforms, the hot girl that the guy just didn't do anything with. Bummer again. But let's see. But we'll get these sauces going, as you guys always said. We'll give it an 8. How's that? We'll give it a good 8. I was going to give it a 7, but the hot girl made an 8, so there you go. And Mage, up to you.
I enjoyed it. I really liked the original Crisis Point episode, and I think that's a lot of why I enjoyed this one. I like the idea of I enjoy the holodeck episodes, especially when they're in some sort of novel, and I like the idea of them kind of doing one part writing a program and one part interactive. So
before you give your mark,
Mm-hmm.
before you give mark, I actually found the original Crisis Point episode to be a little bit disturbing because Mariner was killing off his even her family members, in that, and I found that a little bit disturbing, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a sticking point on that one for me too. It's dark, but she was working through a lot of stuff, and apparently she found catharsis in that. But I think it was intentionally shocking. One of those moments that kind of gives credence to Daniel Vance's comment earlier.
Oh, Daniel Vance is giving it a 3. I refuse to cast vote out of respect for Star Trek Blaze Raspberry.
Ouch.
Oh,
that
I
bad.
think I think it's a negative one for Vancey there for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I closed the poll, so we had another couple votes come in. The winner is 6-7. So me and Zam are the best. Well, we haven't heard what Mage's rank is going to be yet, but suck it, Boone.
No, Commodore Boone. Oh yeah, he gave it a different. Yeah, he
gave it an 8.
That's a different bracket. Yeah, my bad.
Sorry
about my loud bird. I do apologize.
I was leaning between 8 and 7, and I stopped doing the 0.5s. I think I'll cave to peer pressure and give it a 7. It was a good episode, but nothing super standout.
You hear that? That was peer pressure by Mage winning over right there.
Oh man,
Peer pressure got to Mage. We love it.
I love it.
I like to see other people's point of view and kind of make my opinions more flexible. Sometimes I'm set in stone. I'm 40-year-old boomer. It's like, no, new Gohan sucks.
Go.
Oh,
That's
man.
Dragon Ball reference.
Right, because we don't just talk about Trek here. We talk about all sorts of other great stuff.
Yep.
You guys are doing She-Hulk tomorrow, right?
Oh,
yeah,
doing
that's
it.
gonna be an interesting one. Yeah.
Oh,
Is it the season finale of She-Hulk?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be something.
It's gonna be, oh god, I might have to check that one out, even though I've not watched it at all. I might just have to see if you guys are making these faces. I might have to see the vitriol.
You could do an anniversary binge with your missus
Hmm.
and join us tomorrow for this interesting debate regarding the final episode.
I know you definitely need to watch the You can't just watch the one episode. It's
Yeah, you gotta watch all 9 episodes.
yeah.
They're about 25 minutes. They're 25 minutes long, so you can get through it in less than 3 hours.
Okay. So
He got
Saturday's
tongue
what?
twister.
House of the Dragon. You want
House
to run
of
down the
Dragons-
schedule for us, Sam?
Okay, so with the week almost ending, tomorrow is going to be Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power,
Take
the
care,
final
Daniel.
episode of that. And then from next week, we'll be having a slightly lesser schedule. I'll see what's out there as well if it's worth reviewing it, not just the usual pop culture stuff. But unfortunately, from next week, it'll only be House of Dragon, Quantum Leap, and Andor. But don't get me wrong, very
Lower Decks.
shortly. Oh yeah, and Lower Decks, my bad. But don't get me wrong, very shortly we will have some of the spaces filled by new TV shows coming out, like Willow, which will be coming out in November.
On top of that, we might have some bonus content for you finally. Now that the streaming, the review schedule's kind of slowed down, I might actually be able to get some of these other pre-recorded videos that me, Mage, and Zam, and all these other, all of the other people we've been doing, and just there's no holes to release it. So now we have holes, baby. We've got holes to release it,
and more holes as well because House of Dragons, Quantum Leap, Lower Decks, then they're going to be over in a couple of weeks. Even though Quantum Leap has been renewed, we don't know when those new episodes will be coming out.
I don't even think they filmed them yet. So
yeah, and Andor will be done in 6 weeks as well. So
and Lower Decks in 2. So I mean, but I think is Prodigy taking
and House of
place?
Dragon. Yeah, 29th of October, I believe.
So yeah, so Prodigy will be taking its place. So good luck with that.
Gotta get caught up on that one.
Oh yeah.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it for the channel. I did it for The Rock. That's a wrestling reference.
Well, the thing is, like those sort of episodes, like they're not super long either. It's not like you're giving up your whole day. It's like 20 minutes, isn't it? Like an episode, so it's easy to it's easy. It's digestible, So,
but
I always like to on Friday to watch the She-Hulk reviews because you got 4 or 5 guys up there and they just go nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, just nuts. Just go on and on and on and on and on.
You should listen to some of the incels out there who talk about She-Hulk.
No, don't give them the time of day. We listen to them so you guys don't have to.
There you go.
Yeah.
But no, we talk about all sorts of different stuff from MCU, Star Trek, obviously, Star Wars, fantasy. We've got video games and some anime stuff. We talk Dragon Ball Z, Final Fantasy.
Less than a week, Black Adam's coming out, and we'll definitely be reviewing that. Whoever's seen it.
I always don't list DC, but we definitely do that here.
Oh yeah, I do want to see it because I'm excited to see it.
Well, in the past, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say I heard it ranked lower than Batgirl, which it's like the only reason why. I mean, if that's true, that means that
you're the first person to talk about the review of it. I've been avoiding that. Oh man, I've been avoiding critic reviews.
I haven't. No, I just know that's pre-screenings and stuff like that. Like not like reviews. They just said that it's Like the rating has been lower than Batgirl. Which
Yeah.
I don't know
Like
is a
the test
joke.
audiences.
Yeah, the test audiences.
Yeah,
Like, not an
still, I
actual-
mean, I just wish I never knew that, but fair enough.
No, I mean you
Um,
got to see it for yourself because sometimes these test audiences don't know shit. Like,
on a couple of occasions, test audiences got it right. Like when they thought Indiana Jones 4 was shit, they were right. When they thought Batman versus Superman was shit, they were right.
Mm.
You know, I go with test audiences more than I go with critic reviews.
yeah,
So yeah, well,
we'll
yeah.
see. I'm still gonna see it regardless.
I'm gonna see, and we do DC on the channel. Like, this year alone, we've reviewed the Titans, reviewed Peacemaker, and Harley Quinn as well. Like, we do DC on this channel as well. So there is a place for it. Pop culture's there as well as all the other stuff which is popular. Like, which I reviewed Dharma for this channel as well, which was an excellent mini series. As well as stuff like the Many Saints of Newark as well, which was a Sopranos prequel. If you guys ever watched The Sopranos, that was pretty good. So yeah, there's all manners of stuff that we do, which tends to be trending. We'll definitely try to review it.
Definitely. So hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if any of that sounds like something you'd like to watch. I want to thank everybody that joined us in the chat this evening. You guys make the stream. Want to thank anybody who watches later. Please, if you watch down the line, let us know in the comments what your thoughts on the episode were. What's your ranking? Do you agree with us or are we full of it? Please let us know. Until
Hit that
next
thumbs
time.
up.
Yep. Until next time, you have watched NerdTube, the greatest channel you've maybe sort of kind of heard of. Live long and prosper.
Take care.
Happy anniversary, Mage.
Yeah.